Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make faux turquoise. So today we're going to be working with Primo turquoise, and you're not going to want to condition it. You want unconditioned Primo turquoise, and also you're going to want to roll it into a log. Now I've already gone and done cut it into a whole bunch of pieces over here to speed up the video, but that's basically what you want to do with the log. You want to go and chop it into all these sharp edged pieces, and that's what's going to make up our turquoise. Now this is just a simple type of turquoise that I'm making, that you can go into it a little bit more in depth. There are many different ways of creating faux turquoise depending on how you chop it, what colors you use, what materials you use with it. So I'm going to be just using paint today, but if you were to maybe use alcohol inks, you could use sand, you could use gilder's paste, you could use a whole bunch of different interesting materials to create very interesting stones. So I'll bring over a few examples of what I've done with the more interesting materials like alcohol inks and gilder's pastes and things like that make much more of a mess after the end of the video. But this is just a basic faux turquoise that goes nicely with other beads and techniques. So once you've got it all chopped up into little bits like this, bring over some paint, and I'm going to be using black Americana paint. And I'm just going to squirt a bit into the pile, and then we'll bring over a paintbrush and we'll use that to mix the paint onto the turquoise, because, well, it'll be messy using your hands. And although I use my hands a lot, my hands need to remain clean for the tutorial. And if you're asking yourself why I'm not using gloves, I don't like gloves. They get in my way and drive me mad. So I never ever wear gloves. So I prefer just using a brush and mixing it around. Just like this. Now you don't have to get perfect coverage. I haven't got enough coverage here, so I'm going to just put a little bit more paint into here. But you don't need absolutely perfect coverage. And make sure to break up any little clumps that are forming. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you get in those lovely black veins that a lot of turquoise stones have. Now this is just the black veined blue turquoise that we're doing. There are other types of turquoise like African turquoise or white turquoise that require different techniques to get them to get that look. So explore around with this technique. Have a look at some of the real stones, have a look at some of your supplies in your cupboard, and really just mess around with it. The basic fundamentals to the technique is to grate or chop or blitz your pieces of clay and then stick some sort of supply on it. It can be mica powders, it can be gilder's paste, it can be alcohol inks, it can be paint. It really can be absolutely anything you want to form some form of vein. And you can also mix up some of your own colors. It doesn't have to be blue. Some of the turquoise stones have a more greenish hue, some are a blue hue, some are white. It really is an endless possibility. So I'll bring over some examples at the end of the tutorial to show you. But that's basically what we want. Now I'm going to go get a plastic bag, just like this. And this is what I'm going to use to condense my turquoise together. Because I find that it can be a little hard to do by hand, even if you did want to get your hands messy. So you can see this is quite a messy process, so you don't want to be doing this on your kitchen side. You want to be working on a piece of newspaper or a dedicated polymer clay surface like this tile that I'm working on, but you don't want to be working on a place where you you don't really want paint and other substances, because it's a very messy technique. There we go. Just pick up the one or two that are left. There we go. And we'll clean that up in a minute. What you want to do is you want to get all those pieces together at the bottom of your bag, just like that, so that they're right at the bottom in a ball, so that we can condense it into a ball, because the paint is still wet at this point and you want it to be wet, otherwise the clay isn't going to stick together, but it means that it's going to slip around all over the place if you try and do this by hand. So I like to condense it into something like this, and then I twist so that it's nice and formed off like that. And what this does also is it forces that paint into any cracks that you missed. So it's going to put this under pressure, and it's going to cause some interesting things to happen. That paint is going to go into all the crevices it can. So it's trapped in there, and I'm going to keep twisting whenever I can and continue squishing. Okay, now we're going to have some excess paint. So what I like to do is I like to just trim off the end there and see if any excess paint comes out by squishing it against the table. But nothing came out. That's good. Okay, so now what you do, once you've got this all condensed together, you'll slit open your bag carefully, and you'll carefully take out your piece of clay, which should now be condensed together. So I'm just going to open this up and bring this out. Now you want to leave that until it's completely dried. You don't want to be messing with it at the moment because it can come apart. Okay, so it's been a little while and this has dried on the outside, and if I squish it, it seems like it's dry on the inside. I can't really tell. I've left it for about an hour and it looks like it's just about dry, so we can cut off the end pieces. And you can see that I'm forming it now into a log. And since the paint isn't fully dry, you don't want to leave this for a day or so, because then it won't be very easy to mould. You want to leave it for about an hour until you mould it into the shape that you want. But you might need to wait longer to actually cut it. So let's check. Oh, there we are. Worked very well. And there we are. That's simple blue turquoise. And so you can see it, the paint was forced into those lines. So I'm going to cut halfway through to show you. So you can see here that since it was right in the middle of the block, the paint hasn't actually dried. So you might want to leave this. You might want to cut it in half, condense it back together, just like this, and leave it for a day now that you've formed it into the right shape. And then you can proceed to use it in your projects, because you want to make sure that that paint has dried nicely. But that's basically what it's going to look like when it's dry. So I'll just bring that up for you to see, and you can see that I've got paint on my fingers from working with it that little while. So I'll bring over some examples. Okay, so here's a necklace I have done with my various turquoise imitations. And so the middle one here was done with the same colour. Well, all of this was actually done using Kato. There's no Primo in here. And this one is turquoise with sandstone incorporated. These two were done with black paint just like we did today, but they were cut in a different way. These ones were cut the exact same way that we did today, except that I've done a different colour of clay in this one, and this one has got some inclusions besides the paint, which I'm going to leave you to guess. And these ones are just like these ones. I've just cut them in a different way and included a few things. And these ones over here were actually done using blue clay. And now I'm going to leave you guessing to which inclusions I have done to get these 6 to look more green than blue. But they were done using the same blue clay that was done over here. This entire necklace was actually done using 3 colours of blue. And that's all. The rest of the colours were incorporated using different supplies. So I'm going to leave you guessing, and I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments to see if any of you can guess. But I will be showing this necklace on my Patreon account soon. So if you're interested in learning how to make all of these different types of turquoise, look over there, as I'm sure that you'll find it helpful. I include it all in one tutorial, and it's great fun. We're messing with paints, alcohol inks, gilder's paste, mica powders, sand, everything, the whole package. So that's a necklace I've done, but I've also got some other beads that I do. What I like to do when I create turquoise is I like to create all of these test samples to see what it actually looks like before I invest a whole bunch of energy into actually making the bead or the necklace. See, so here are the ones that we did today, and that's what they will look like with resin on them. And then the rest of these were just me playing around with turquoise for a day or two, figuring out a few methods. So be sure to go and play around with turquoise. Go look through supplies. Don't disclude things just because you think they will look ridiculous. Trust me, I included a few ridiculous things in here and it worked absolutely wonderfully. So please do go and experiment around with this technique, as I'm sure you'll come up with wonderful, wonderful, wonderful looks. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. If you're watching this on YouTube, post your pictures either on my Facebook page, or you can go to my website, Jessama Tutorials, and I'll include that in the links below. And there'll be a form under this tutorial allowing you to send in your pictures, where I have a gallery and I include the best pictures that I like the best, and I look forward to seeing what you guys make. So if you're watching this on my website, be sure to check out that form, as there'll be a place for you to send in your pictures, and I really look forward to seeing them, as there's just an endless line of possibilities for the stone. So, as always, I hope that this video was helpful, and if it was, look at the suggested videos below, as there are many different tutorials that I have. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now!